That was your minimum requirement to be a soldier. All your rest of your teeth could be pulled or rotten or whatever, but you had to have a good working top and good bottom teeth because you had to be able to tear a cartridge. This is the cartridges that they would have used in the American Revolution. We use them 200 years later simply because they're good safety cartridges. And this is filled with powder, so I'm exposing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically fill that little pan I told you about with powder and make sure that little touch hole is completely covered with powder. And then I'm going to close that pan and blow on the top and blow on the bottom to make sure there's no granules of powder around. Yes?
Which one takes longer, a bow or a gun?
A gun. So
that
now
mean the Indians lose?
they were going to lose anyway. They didn't have the firepower. A piece of lead knocks you over faster than a bone or a rock or an arrowhead. So now I'm going to basically take this particular cartridge and put all the balance of the powder. But if I was using this and it was 400 years ago, I actually pop the top of this like I showed you before, put it in there, and then just drop it. But I'm going to make sure that if I have a second shot, I'm just going to make sure this dangles like this without the top back on, because if I have a second shot real fast, I need to make sure it's loaded. And if I feel the top is still on, then I know it's a loaded cartridge, okay? So basically, once that happens, and as I mentioned, you get out to put a lead ball in your mouth, you get out on the fire outside here, and then you're going to spit one of those lead balls down there, and then you're going to take the scouring stick and jam that ball real tight, once again, against the powder. So now we're almost ready to fire. Now bear in mind, if I get 100 people, if I'm 99th number, if I'm 100 and there are 99 other people in a rank with me, I may have a misfire. It's not inconceivable. Sometimes these slow matches do not come down on the powder when they're supposed to. You're doing rapid fire, you're firing 3 times in 1 minute, not everybody's going to get a perfect fire. Well, you get 97 balls going across the field as opposed to 3 that misfire. That's not such a bad average after all. But the point being is there are sometimes misfires. So we'll see if we get this one back to back as well. So what I'm doing is I'm putting that slow burning match right there in the serpentine. Now bear in mind this serpentine, before I set it, bear in mind that little serpentine, that lever, is controlled by this trigger. So when that serpentine is lit, it brings it down. It's going to bring it right on that powder. So when I open that pan, that match is going to be exposed to the powder, and that will cause an explosion on the outside of the musket, which will shoot through that little touch hole and cause a second explosion inside the barrel, which then propels the ball out the barrel. And that's how the mechanism works. Okay, so we'll try this now. See if I can't set this in place. We got to continually blow on the match because sometimes it does go out. And I'll try to set it in place. And then I'll test it to see if it goes down the way I want it to on top of that powder. Well, it looks like we're pretty close here. Try it again. I think we're going to be ready. Okay, if you all be kind enough to close your ears and perhaps open your mouth. Okay. All right. Open pan. Present peace. Give fire. And that's the way it's done. Thank you all very much.